Okay, let's talk about one of the most common and, honestly, most stressful financial questions out there. You get a little extra cash, maybe a bonus from work, a tax refund, or you've just been killing it with your budget, and then the big question hits. What's the smartest thing to do with it? Is there a right answer? Well, it's not just about the math. It's about your money, sure, but it's also about your mind. Let's break it down.
So you've got this tug-of-war happening in your head, right? On one side, there's the crushing weight of debt, those monthly payments that just feel like a financial anchor holding you back. But on the other side, there's this exciting idea of growing your wealth, making your money work for you. It's a classic battle, and the choice you make with your next dollar, it could seriously shape your entire financial future.
All right, before we get into the feelings and the stress of it all, let's just strip it down to the cold, hard math for a second. Because when you really look at it, this whole debate is a tale of two simple percentages. And trust me, one of them is working way harder against you than the other is working for you.
First up, let's look at the cost of high-interest debt. The average interest rate on a credit card has skyrocketed to over 24%. And that's not some crazy penalty rate. For a lot of people, that's just the new normal. Think about that. That's a guaranteed cost you are paying year after year just for the privilege of carrying that balance. Ouch.
Okay, now for the other side of the coin, investing. If you look at the stock market, say the S&P 500, it's historically returned an average of about 10% a year over the long haul. And yeah, that's a fantastic engine for building wealth. But, and this is a huge but, that return is absolutely not guaranteed. It comes with risk, and it goes up and down.
So when you put those two numbers side by side, the picture becomes crystal clear. You've got a guaranteed loss of 24% versus a potential unguaranteed gain of 10%. From a pure math perspective, it's not even a fair fight. Paying off that high-interest debt is like getting a guaranteed, risk-free 24% return on your money. You just can't beat that.
Okay, so if the math is that obvious, why is this even a debate? Why is it such a hard decision for so many of us? Well, because it's not just about the numbers on a spreadsheet. There's this massive, hidden cost to carrying debt, a psychological cost, that messes with how we think and feel every single day.
And science actually backs this up. This quote from a major study really gets to the heart of it. It found that our brains don't just see debt as one big pile of money we owe. No, we see each individual debt, the credit card, the car loan, the student loan, as its own separate little mental account. And each one of those accounts eats up a ton of our mental energy.
And this all leads to a concept that researchers call the bandwidth tax. It's like having too many apps open on your phone. It just slows everything down. Juggling all those different debt accounts creates this constant low-level stress that taxes our brain. It literally impairs our ability to think clearly, which, surprise, can lead to even more bad financial decisions. It's a vicious cycle.
So, we've got the numbers, we've got the psychology. Now what do you actually do? How do you make the right call for your own situation? Don't worry, there's a simple 3-step framework that can cut right through all the noise and give you a clear path forward. It all boils down to these 3 steps, in this specific order. First, you got to analyze your interest rates. Second, you have to make sure you're not leaving any free money on the table. And third, you need to build a financial safety net. Getting this order right is the absolute key to making the smartest move.
All right, step 1. You got to know your enemy. Look at your interest rates. A really solid rule of thumb is to go to war with any debt that has an interest rate over, say, 6 to 8%. Why? Because paying off a credit card that's charging you 20% is exactly the same as earning a 20% return on an investment. The best part? It's completely risk-free and tax-free. You will not find a deal that good anywhere else. Now for the one giant exception to the rule. The golden rule, really. If your job offers a 401k match, grabbing that is your #1 priority. Period. Even before that high-interest debt. Think about it. An employer match is often a 50 or even 100% return on your money, instantly. That's an unbeatable return that blows even the highest credit card rates out of the water. Not getting your full match is just walking away from free money.
And last, but definitely not least, before you go all in on paying off debt or investing, you have to have a safety net. This means building an emergency fund with 3 to 6 months of your essential living expenses. This is your financial firewall. It's what stops a surprise car repair or a medical bill from turning into new, high-interest debt that just undoes all your hard work.
So, let's fast forward a bit. What's the ultimate payoff here? What do you really gain by choosing one path over the other? Because the answer really helps clarify which route makes the most sense for your personal goals.
This chart really breaks it down perfectly. When you pay down debt, you get that guaranteed, risk-free return we talked about. But you also immediately lower that bandwidth tax, which is huge for your stress levels and frees up future cash flow. On the other hand, investing has the potential for higher returns in the long run, but it comes with market risk, which can cause its own stress, and that money isn't easy to get to if you need it quickly.
Okay, so where does all this leave us? We've covered a lot. The math, the mind games, the step-by-step plan. Now let's tie it all together with a final strategy that, frankly, works for just about everyone.
Look, for the vast majority of people, the best answer isn't choosing one or the other. It's a smart hybrid approach. The smartest move you can make is to contribute just enough to your 401k to get every single penny of your employer match. And then you take every other extra dollar you have and you throw it at your high-interest debt like your hair is on fire. This way, you get the best of both worlds. You get the free money and you destroy your most expensive debt.
And this all boils down to one final, really powerful question you need to ask yourself. Is your goal just to be debt-free, or is it to be financially free? Because being debt-free is an amazing feeling. It brings so much peace. But financial freedom, that's bigger. That's about having the tools and the assets to make your money truly work for you. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't just to own nothing, it's to own your future.